Dune 2021 is the latest adaptation of Frank Herbert's revered novel of the same name. It follows Paul Atreides, the son of a noble family, as they deal with both the power and troubles that come with protecting the galaxy's most vulnerable resource. So this was arguably my most anticipated film of the year. Dennis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors working today. The cast is elite, and the story based off of the source material is obviously great. So I figured there's no way this movie could let me down. And fortunately it doesn't. Dune is one of the best crafted films I've seen all year. One thing about Dune is that the world is massive, and Villeneuve capitalizes off of this by choosing to shoot with the 1.43 aspect ratio, which is suitable for IMAX screens. Not only is there more room to see the spectacular world, but stuff is constantly happening in the background that you may otherwise miss. It's this attention to detail by Villeneuve and the cinematographers that I really appreciate. Hans Zimmer's score and the color palette of the film also help to accentuate this bleak world and grim story. I've heard some complaints that the film feels kind of like a downer, and I think that's exactly the tone Villeneuve was going for. Dune isn't a happy story by any means, so I feel like the tone was appropriate across the board. I think the stellar directing and technical aspects of the film are only rivaled by what might be my favorite aspect of the movie, which are the performances. There isn't a weak link in this movie, and that's exactly what you would hope for with an all-star ensemble like this. You wonder how you're going to give all these A-listers screen time, and I have to say they did figure it out. Everyone does their part embodying their characters, but the standouts for me were Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, and Jason Momoa. Chalamet was great in this, as he's able to challenge this wide range of emotion while remaining stoic as the character Paul should be. He also proves he's capable in the action sequences as well. Overall, it's probably his best performance to date in my opinion. Rebecca Ferguson is as mysterious as you would expect the Bene Gesserit to be, and her chemistry with Chalamet is great since we do follow them a great length of this story. Jason Momoa, however, steals every scene that he's in. His charisma is probably the only bubbly and bright spot emotionally and tonally in the film. Not to mention, most of the film's best action sequences feature him. Now, for as good as this movie is, I can't say it doesn't have flaws. One complaint from the masses I'm hearing is that this film is really slow, and I have to admit that it is. If you're expecting an all-out action film, this isn't the movie for you. There is a lot of lore and world-building elements to establish here, and the movie spends a lot of time doing this, so it does create this slow-burning effect. While this isn't necessarily a bad thing because there is a lot to cover, I can see some people getting bored in certain spots with this movie. I also think the problem with Dune in both the novel and the films is that the world may be so bleak it makes the story and characters kind of hard to get into. I'd be lying if I said everyone in this universe was full of personality, because they aren't. Also, you may notice I haven't mentioned Zendaya yet. She's barely in the film, so I know fans of hers or people going to see this movie may be disappointed in that regard because you kinda don't really see her. Ultimately, I think the fact that this is part one of what may be or should be a 3-part series may leave a lot of people upset. And I can't fully blame them because the film's not really marketed as a part 1, so some people may end up being confused. This version focuses on the setup of the world, its lore and politics, and the characters, meaning the action and excitement do kind of take a back seat. With this being said, Dennis Villeneuve's Dune is still an expertly crafted film. The story it does tell is true to the source material, and visually this film is stunning. Probably even the best looking picture I've seen so far this year, and that alone is worth the price of admission. There's not tons of action, but because of the masterful setup, it does hit harder when it does occur. The performances are also great, making this a solid film all around. Now, if you're not familiar with Dune at all, the best advice I can give is to go in this with the open mind and an understanding that this is a part 1 of what might hopefully be a 3-part series. Now, for Dune fans, I think you'll have a lot to love here. I genuinely enjoyed this movie for multiple reasons. I'm going to give Dune an 8 out of 10. So like I've said, Dune was one of my most anticipated films of the year, and after being disappointed by so many others that I've wanted to see, I'm glad this one lived up to the hype. Well, at least for me it did. What did you guys think about this one? Let me know as always in the comments below. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to check out this review. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Come join me on this journey, become a part of the family, because we have a lot more to come. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe out there.